In today's video, mutants and cultists are on the warpath and attacking the wasteland oasis of Coldwater as we play our first on-screen game of Grimdark Future Firefight from one-page rules. Well, hi folks, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lee, your old hammered host. I'm here with Lynn, your other old hammered host.
Hello.
And today we're going to play some Grimdark Future Firefight from one-page rules. This is kind of the skirmish version of their larger scale Grimdark Future miniatures game. So for today's game, we are setting up sort of a homebrew scenario. So instead of playing player versus player, Lynn and I will be on the same team, and we will be defending the wasteland oasis of Coldwater, home of the only deep rock aquifer water pumping station in all of the wasteland for 50 clicks in any direction. So what's happened here is the old venerable pumping station is in disrepair. The original shaft has kind of collapsed on itself. It's full of ash and debris, and so the flow of water has slowed to a trickle. So the desert nomads that are currently managing the station, it changes hands quite frequently, but this is currently the cadre in power. They have enlisted the help of some rattling miners. Now, if you can't afford dwarves, then the rattlings are the best tunnelers around. So they have arrived in Coldwater to help sink a new shaft, basically, and get the flow of water back up to capacity. However, this activity has raised the hackles of the local band of mutant cannibals, and their belief is that everyone should drink the polluted acid rain, the radioactive rain that falls from the toxic clouds above. So they are going to try to shut down Coldwater. They're going to rush into town. They are going to try to burn down buildings, maybe destroy the pump, certainly try to wipe out the engineers and the nomads, and maybe even occupy Coldwater so no one can get a nice fresh drink of agua fria anywhere in the wasteland. So for today's game, Lynn and I will be playing the defenders. She's going to be playing the rattling engineers, and I will be playing the nomads. And we will try to defend Coldwater from the ravenous hordes of mutated cultists. So we're going to say that the rattlings managed to activate the old radio station. This is Radio Free Wasteland, and they have sent out a call to the local settlers for help. So we're going to say if the defenders can hold on past turn 4, if they can survive 4 turns of onslaught, then the local settlers will have formed a militia, a posse, and they will arrive to help out the nomads and the engineers to drive off the cultists. So we have to survive 4 turns of cultist onslaught.
Yep, and since the pump is down, that's why the town is mostly deserted.
That's right, the pump is down, it's closed down for repairs, and so most of the occupants of Coldwater have scattered to safer areas until the water is restored. So we've kind of made up our own random activation system for the cultists. Basically, we're going to use cards to determine which unit gets activated. And they will try to do things like if they can't move and get a target right away, they'll try to burn down a building. If they get a chance to kill someone, they'll try to kill someone. And if they don't have anyone hassling them and they're near the pump, they may try to damage the pump, which would be a victory for them if they can destroy that old venerable water pump. So there are 300 points of cultists, and they are mostly organized into these 3-man cadres. So here's 2 rifles and a flamethrower. Here's 2 rifles and a machine gun. Here's 3 pistols and hand-to-hand weapons. 3 pistols and hand-to-hand weapons. 3 rifle guys. And then we have the cult leader with a shotgun. And then this hand-to-hand mutant who is bad news on a stick. So he's really tough. So over here we have 150 points of nomads. Here is the leader here with a shred pistol. That's very short range, but it does get 3 attacks. We have an ogre right here with his submachine gun shotgun, and he's pretty good in hand-to-hand as well. We have a crazy cavalry guy who's brought his horse to the party. And here's a trio of infantry who operate together, and they just have regular old rifles. Then we have 150 points of Ratmen engineers. So here are 3 crawlers. Those are the guys who get down in the pit and help excavate the pipe. And they are armed with pistols and hand weapons. And here is the leader. She has a hand weapon and a shred pistol, so in close range, she's pretty deadly. Providing security is the elite Ratman here. He has a carbine, so he has a little better range, and he gets 2 shots. And then, of course, here is the Rat Ogre with the drill and a flamethrower. So if he can get a bead on a squad of cultists with that flamethrower, I think he gets about 6 shots. So he can take out a lot of cultists with a single burst of napalm. Yeah, he was brought in for drilling operations. He didn't realize he'd be defending the water pump, but that's part of the contract. That was in the fine print.
Which he doesn't always read.
So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our defenders here in the middle, and then we will sort of randomly place the cultists around the edge, and then during the alternating activations, the cultists will kind of activate at random. We'll assign each squad a number, and then we will draw cards. So when someone needs to activate, we will draw a random card, and that will determine which squad activates. So we won't really know who's activating at any particular time, and we'll just run through the list, and after everyone's activated, we will go to the next round and see if our defenders can survive 4 rounds of cultist onslaught. So we're going to take a few minutes off camera. We will set up our defenders and set up our cultists, and then we'll jump right into gameplay, the defense of Coldwater Oasis here in the Wasteland. So again, this is Grimdark Future Firefight from One Page Rules, and this will be our first on-screen game. So let's get to it. Okay, folks, we are back. We have set up our various forces. So the Nomad leader is right here. Here's the Ratmen crawlers. There is the Ratman commander. There is the Rat Ogre. There is my Ogre, the Nomad Ogre. There is the Ratman Commando, the elite guy there. Then back over here, there's the 3 Nomad fighters with rifles. There is the cavalry guy, the Rough Rider. And as you can see, the town has been surrounded by wily mutants getting ready to pounce. We have placed them at random. So right here and right here are both kind of hand-to-hand mutants. They have pistols and clubs. Way over here is the cultist leader. Over on this side, we have a pod of rifle guys with a machine gun. And then over here is just a unit of regular rifle guys. The greater mutant is right here. He doesn't have any ranged weapons, but he is deadly in close combat. And finally, here is a squad of cultist grunts with rifles and a flamethrower. So the flamethrower, the machine gun, the greater mutant are all high on our target list. We would like to eliminate them quickly because they can cause a lot of damage. So the way that morale works in this game is once either team has lost half of its units or more at the end of the round, the remaining units on its side have to make a morale check to see if they stand or rout. So we have, I think, 8 units together, and then the cultists have 7. So once either team, either us or them, gets to 4 units destroyed, then the morale checks will start being made, and we'll see if people stand or flee. Okay, it's the beginning of round 1. We're going to roll to see which team starts first. So the red die are the mutants, and the blue die are the heroic defenders. That's us. So the mutants move first. So we will draw a card and see which mutant unit charges into the fray. Number 4. So that is this pod of mutants down here. They have 2 rifles and a machine gun. And so what we're trying to do is determine whether they can move and shoot somebody. They can move up to 6 inches and then still shoot. Or if they're going to just kind of slightly move up and set fire to a building or attempt to. So yeah, the cultists could get 1 rifleman in view to shoot those other riflemen from the Nomad side. But that's not really worth it. They really need to get all their guys and their machine gun into line of sight to make it worthwhile. So instead, what I think they're going to do is kind of scurry around this way and try to set fire to this building. So that's something they do in lieu of shooting. So they have advanced 6 inches, and they're going to attempt to torch this building. To set it on fire, they need a 6. And they didn't get it. So that was the cultists' first activation this round. Now either the rats or the nomads get to activate, and we're going to roll to determine which it is.
I'm blue, you're red.
You get to activate first. So the rats are activating. So one challenge with having a lot of terrain, it's kind of hard to get a camera angle on all of our minis here, but Lynn is going to move the crawlers, that is the mine workers who have pistols and hand weapons, and so she is going to move those guys to help defend the oasis.
So the stalkers are going to move right up here.
Stalkers are moving up behind the crates. They don't really have a bead on anybody at this point. So they're sneaking up here amongst these crates. Okay, now the cultists get activate, and so who's activating?
Looks like number 6.
Number 6. Number 6 is 2 riflemen and a flamethrower. So they're over here. So they're going to kind of move over this way. And they're going to attempt to set fire to this building. They're going to try to set the diner on fire because they are really mean that way. And no, almost. You'd think with that much grease built up in the grease trap, it would go up like a candle, but it is not on fire yet. Okay, so I guess I get to move somebody.
You get to move somebody.
So my cavalry guy here is kind of a glass cannon. He doesn't have a lot of defense, and so he can get shot to pieces pretty easily out in the open. But he's not bad on the charge. So we're going to see if we can charge somebody. He is fast, so I think what he's going to do is he's going to whip around here and charge the unit of cultists with the machine gunner. Now, he could have charged somebody else, but the machine gun is a high-value target because it can do a lot of damage at long range, and so we're going to start chipping away at this unit, even though it may cost this cavalry guy his life. So this Rough Rider is taking one for the team. So he charges in. He's going to do some hand-to-hand here.
So he gets 1 hit automatically for charging.
Right. Just by charging, he scores 1 hit. And he also has, let's see, 2 close combat attacks. So he's got 1 hit in the bank already. He's going to attack twice. His quality is 5+. Let's see what happens. And no hits. So he has his 1 hit from charging. So the cultists will need to defend. So they defend with a 5+. And they do. That's really unfortunate. Poor Rough Rider. Oh my God.
Now they can attack back.
Now they can attack back. They get 3 attacks with a 5+. They score 2. Oh, this could be the end of the Rough Rider. And he blocked 1, but he didn't block the other one, so he takes a wound. So he takes 1 wound. Now he needs to roll on the wound chart to see what happens. Rolls a d6, adds 1 for his 1 wound, and he is eliminated. That is the end of the Rough Rider. That is an inauspicious beginning to our adventure here. So he went out in a blaze of glory, but did no damage. Into the Valley of Death. Okay, so that's me. Now we draw to see which cultist unit activates next. And it is number 7, and I believe that's the mutant. Okay, there's the mutant right there, and he can also charge 16. So let's see if anyone's in range for him to charge. So he's not quite in range to charge anybody, and I think if I was that mutant, rather than trying to set fire to a building, I would set up my next charge. So he's going to use his rush of 14 inches and try to line himself up to get into the fray on the next turn. So he is going to lie in wait for the moment and try to pull off a charge on the next turn. To devastating effect, no doubt. Okay, so the rattlings are activating, and you're going to activate your commander right here.
Yes, I think she's going to Overwatch.
She's going to Overwatch. So she's going to lay in wait to see if anybody runs across her line of sight. So that Overwatch, at least the way we play it, means that she's on Overwatch for the rest of this round and then into the next round until her next activation. All right, now the cultists get to move. Who's moving?
Number 2.
Number 2. We're number 2. We're number 2. So that is this squad of 3 riflemen, and I think they can actually move and shoot somebody. Because if you look through this gap right here, there's the 3 crawlers. So they're moving up. So they have moved up here, and they're going to take a shot at these crawlers that they can see through the gap. But I think the crawlers are going to get some cover because the shipping container is kind of in the way. So instead of a 5+ for these guys, they need to hit on a 6+. 3 rifles, 1 hit on the crawlers. 5+ to block the hit.
No.
And no. So 1 crawler is killed. So the crawlers right here suffer 1 casualty. They're down to 2 now. And they thought they were safe behind these crates, but they didn't watch their 6. So that's what happens when you're surrounded on all sides. So now the Nomads get to move, and I think I'm going to wreak a horrible revenge on the rifle guys who just shot you. So the Ogre right here has his automatic shotgun, and so he can do a lot of damage. So he needs to decide whether he wants to shoot these rifle guys right here or the mutant right there. The mutant has 3 hits, so it's kind of tough. And it's definitely going to come after him on the next turn. All right, we'll see if we can take out this unit of rifles. So the Ogre is going to move over this way and unleash shotgun pellets on this squad of riflemen, these cultists here. So that's 3 attacks on the cultists. AP1 hitting on a 4+. 2 hits. So they need a 6+ to defend. And they didn't. So 2 cultists are eliminated. That helps a bit.
Thank you for wreaking revenge.
Okay, now it's time for the cultists again. Do you wish to draw for the cultists to see what happens?
Number 3.
Number 3. So we have 3 guys right here with pistols and clubs. And I think they're going to move over here and try to set this building on fire. They're going to try to burn down radio-free wasteland. So we need a 6. Didn't get it. So these guys activated. Now it's time for the ratlings to do something fun. And you have your rat ogre and your elite guy with the carbine left to activate this round. So Lynn has a plan for sniping this mutant here who is looking around the corner. And that plan includes this rat man here with the carbine who thinks he can climb on top of the building and then get sight of the mutant's head while he's peeking around the corner. So the elite rat with the carbine climbs up the ladder and he's going to try to shoot the mutant. So it's a little bit difficult to see with the terrain, but the rat man is up here on the roof and he's going to shoot down at the mutant who's peeking around the corner. 2 shots with his rifle.
And it's AP1, which will help.
And it's AP1. 4+ because he's elite. 1 hit.
He defends with a 4+ instead of a 3+.
The mutant blocks it with a 6. I would imagine anyone who survived the wasteland this long has a measure of luck, so he lucked out and a Ratman bullet goes whizzing by the horn on the top of his head, and so he survives. Actually, he has 3 wounds anyway, but we need to start whittling him down at some point. Okay, so that is the Ratman Elite. Who's next? Number 5. So that's these happy little guys here. And I think they can charge these riflemen here. So for example, this guy here could move up about an inch, spend 2 inches to clamber up. Then he can drop. He'll need to make a roll for it. And then from there, he's got enough range to reach this dude here. So all of them are going to clamber up. They're going to drop 2 inches and kind of move over this way. However, to complete that maneuver, they have to successfully pass a 2-inch drop climbing over the wall, so they don't have to pay to vertically climb down. So they need to roll a 3+, each one of them, to avoid falling. So some of them may fall clambering over the fence. They each need a 3+ to succeed, and 2 of them fail. I guess that means 2 of them fall and become stunned, and 1 guy probably has to stop, though he could still shoot, I guess. So what happened is these guys tried to clamber over the corrugated wall. 2 of them did not succeed, however. They needed a 3+ to navigate the short drop. They did not make it. So 2 of them are stunned, and now they need to roll to see if they get injured. So as it is a short drop, there's no AP involved, but each of those models takes a hit, so they have to defend with a 5+. And they're both wounded from their short fall. So each one takes a wound. Now they need to roll on the wound chart. And 1 is incapacitated and knocked out, and the other one is just stunned. So we'll say this guy is out. So this guy who's stunned, if anyone shoots him and gets a hit or charges him, then he is out. He's incapacitated. Now, I don't recall any specific text in the rule book dealing with this specific incident, but we're going to say that these guys were charging. Their charge got stopped because some people were stunned. But since this guy didn't move more than 6 inches, he could still shoot. Right or wrong, that's what we're going to do. So the cultist is going to shoot his pistol.
He needs a 5+.
He needs a 5+. And he gets it. So he scores 1 hit, bounding over the wall. So the riflemen defend on a 5+. The hit is blocked. So now it's my turn to activate, and I can either activate my commander, who's right here, or these rifle guys right here who were startled to see these cultists hop over the corrugated fence. Now these riflemen here could shoot at the cultists, but I think they're going to charge instead, because that'll automatically eliminate 1 cultist. So they're just going to charge in. That takes this guy out immediately. Then they get 3 attacks with their rifle butts and their long knives, hitting on 5+, and they get nothing. So then the cultist is going to attack back. He gets 2 attacks because he has a pistol and a club. And he gets 1 hit. And so it's a 5+ to block. And doesn't block it. One of these rifle guys goes away. And the attackers back up 1 inch. So they're out there swinging. They're trying to do their part. So one cultist was killed by falling off a fence. One was killed by getting stomped by a boot. And one cultist remains. Okay, so who's next? The cult leader is next. All right, so here is the cult leader right here. He's going to run up the steps and try to blast someone with the shotgun. And from that vantage point here, he can kind of see the crawlers. And he can kind of see the rat ogre, but I think he has a clearer shot at the crawlers. So the cult leader right here is going to shoot his shotgun at the crawlers. He gets 2 shots, but his accuracy is only 5+. He's a leader, but he's not a very good shot.
Nope. None of our leaders are.
2 misses.
All right.
So he shoots and misses. So the crawlers breathe a sigh of relief as shotgun pellets perforate the containers around them. Okay, the last unit you have to activate is your rat ogre right there. So he is going to use the mailbox as a step stool and climb onto the roof. Okay, so the rat ogre has climbed on top of the building and he is going to unleash a torrent of napalm on the cult leader.
And he hits on 4+.
All right.
3 hits.
3 hits on the cult leader. The cultist champion has a defense of 5+. And scores none. So the cult leader has 3 wounds, and he's taken all 3 in the exchange with the rat ogre. And since he's lost his last wound, he now needs to roll on the wound chart. So he gets knocked out on a 5+. Anything else, he's stunned. And he's stunned. So well done, rat ogre. So the cultists have moved everybody they can move this round, but I have 1 person left. So the final person I have to move is my commander, and I think his shred pistol only has a range of 6. So he needs to get up close and personal, but if he does, it has 3 attacks. So the trick is, can he move 6 and still be in range to shoot somebody? Not quite. So I think what he's going to do is he is going to rush over here and get on top of this shipping container. So he is going to hop over here, which puts him in an exposed position, but he also can support whatever happens next round and hopefully lay down some razor-sharp flechettes from a shred pistol on either the mutant or one of the cultists. So we will see what happens. You don't get to be a wasteland commander by being meek. So the commander is here, there's a cultist here, and a mutant here, and an ogre right there. So there's going to be a big brawl here in this section of the shantytown. All right, is that the end of round 1? Did we survive round 1?
We survived round 1.
Okay, so going into round 2, the mutants are first. Let's see what evilness they have planned for us. Number 4. So number 4 is these guys here with the machine gun. And I think they can shoot through that gap. So the machine gun is going to move up here. And these guys will move behind him. So that is kind of bad news for the 2 riflemen here, who did not expect to be looking down the barrel of a Browning 50 cal at this juncture. They thought they were just going to fight 1 cultist, but now they're going to get a spray of bullets. The random activation mechanic actually works pretty well, simple as it is, for surprises and such. So that's going to be 3 machine gun shots and 2 rifle shots. Hitting with a 5+. And 1 hit. Only 1 hit, which is good. So, defending on a 5+. And I do not defend. So 1 rifleman is destroyed. If he was the last rifleman, he would get to roll on the wound chart. But since he's not, he's just taken out. So we lose another rifleman. Okay, so the cultist ran around the corner and killed 1 rifleman with a spray of bullets. Okay, so Lynn has a strategy here. Now, she could have the rat ogre charge the cult leader and take him out. But instead, she's going to kind of move this way and try to get within 12 inches of this machine gunner here. If she does, she can split up her attacks evenly between all these guys because they're all within 3 inches. So she would basically spray a gout of napalm on all these dudes. And I think you get 6 attacks with the flamethrower. So the rat ogre is going to pivot around and try to use max napalm on those guys. Okay. Well within 12 inches. So there's a gout of napalm from the rat ogre onto these guys. And since this guy's within 3 inches, he can be part of the party. So we're going to divide up the attacks. And then once that's all done, then the defender, we don't really have a defender, but the cultist would decide who takes the injuries, if there are any. And so the least important guys would get killed first. Okay, so 6 attacks. Hitting on a 4+. 2, that could have been better.
Yeah, could have been better.
5+ to block. 1 block, so only 1 hit. Yeah, so they're going to want to preserve this unit for morale purposes, so we'll get rid of this guy here. So the napalm must have kind of arced over and just burned the guy at the end of the conga line. Still, that's better than nothing.
Yep.
Okay, cultists.
3.
Number 3. So cultist unit number 3, they have pistols and clubs. So it looks like if they run over here by the dumpster, they can be in range to shoot this rifleman way over here.
But he would get cover from the car.
He would get some cover, which is good because he's having a bad day otherwise. So these cultists here are going to shoot their pistols at this nomad over here. He's the last member of his unit. And they'll need a 6 because there's a car in the way providing some cover. And no hits. So it was a valiant effort, but no hits. Okay, so who's next? Is it me?
Yep.
So there's quite a lot of stuff going on over here. So we have the commander up on the shipping container. We have an ogre right here. We have the cultist mutant right there. And a regular cultist, the last member of his own little squad, down there. So let's see what we can do. I think we need to start willing this mutant down. So we could eliminate this cultist unit, but I don't really care about him. One cultist with a rifle isn't going to do much. But this mutant could do a lot. So we're going to try to eliminate him. So the ogre is going to whip around and unleash some buckshot on that mutant. 3 attacks with a 4+. If he charged, he'd get 4 attacks, but I don't want to charge that mutant because it's better in close combat than I am. And he got 1 hit. AP 1, which is good because the mutant has a defense of 3+, and now it's a 4+. And he defends. Oh, that was terrible. Well, that's the way it goes in the wasteland sometimes.
He's tough to hit.
He's a survivor. So the cultists get to activate somebody, and who's it going to be? Number 7, that is the mutant. So the greater mutant is going to activate. He's going to charge the ogre. He needs to roll to see what bonus he gets. 3.
3 is rending.
So he's going to have rending on his attacks.
So any roll of 6 is AP 4.
So he gets 4 hand-to-hand attacks, and we do not want any 6s. And he hits on a 3+, so his quality is very good. So 2 hits, no 6s, so that's good. So the ogre defends on a 4+. And he defends once, so he takes 1 wound. So he's down to 2 wounds. He's going to fight back. So the ogre gets 3 attacks with a 4+. And 2 hits off the mutant. Mutant defends with a 3+, though, so he's hard to hit. So unfortunately, the mutant blocked both those attacks. But he moves back 1 inch because no one was destroyed. And these guys are both fatigued, so the next time they attack this round with hand-to-hand, if they have to, then they're only going to hit on a 6. So next it's the ratlings, and Lynn is going to use her commando here, her elite rat, with the rifle, and try to get a bead on the mutant. So he is up here. He's going to shoot the mutant down there. He gets 2 shots with a 4+. 2 hits. So the mutant has defense of 3+, but there's AP 1 on the rifle, which is good. So 4+ to defend. And no defense. So the mutant takes 2 hits.
Yay!
That's what we needed. So the mutant is down to 1 wound. So the next cultist is number 6. So that's these guys here, and I think they're going to try to run around this way and shoot some napalm at the crawlers, unfortunately. So they have a flamethrower and 2 rifles. They are well within range. And so that's going to be a bad day for the poor crawlers who thought this was just going to be a mining job. They didn't know they'd be in combat. 6 shots from the flamethrower on these guys here, and 2 shots from the rifle, so that's 8, but it is a 5+. So 2 hits. So 2 hits on the crawlers, but they're actually called stalkers. Crawlers, stalkers, whatever. And 1 survives, so we lose 1 rat. 1 mining rat is dispatched.
That's pretty darn good for all the hits they got.
It could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. Okay, now it's my turn. So the commander is going to attempt to use his shred pistol and polish off that mutant. So it's his time to shine. Don't screw it up, man. So 3 shots with a quality of 4+, and the pistol has rending if he gets a 6.
6s.
No rending, but we did get 2 hits. No AP, so the mutant gets a defense of 3+. Be great if he could blow it. And he blows it. So he is going to take a wound check. He's taken a total of 3 wounds, so he needs to roll on the wound chart. And 6, he's out of commission. So he is out of commission. The mutant is shredded by the shred pistol. So that's good for us.
That's really good for us.
So the next cultist unit to activate is 2. And we had to refer back to our notes. 2 is actually this unit of riflemen here, of which there is 1 left. And this actually got switched to 5 for a moment, but we already have another 5. So this is number 2. I suppose he will shoot the Ogre because the Ogre is closest. And he misses. So that is number 2. So Lynn has an insidious plan. This mouseling is going to run over here, hop on the vending machine, jump on the roof, and charge the cultist commander, thereby taking him out. So if you have the movement, by all means, do that. Mouseling moves over, hops up here, charges the cultist commander, and dispatches him.
Since he is stunned.
Since he is stunned.
Small but mighty.
That's right. All right, now the cultists. Who's next? 1 unit left. Number 5. That's this guy here, so he is going to charge the rifleman. So he gets 2 attacks. And 2 hits. Wow. Rifleman needs a 5+ to defend. And gets 1 of them, but misses the other one. So he takes a wound. He's to roll on the wound chart. So he got a 4 + 1 for the wound, so he is stunned. So the attacker moves back 1 inch. So all the cult members have activated. I only have 1 guy who can activate, and that is this rifleman down here. And so for his activation, he is going to stand up and cease being stunned, which is good. And then the final unit to activate is this stalker here. And so he is the last member of his unit. So the stalker is wisely going to move away from this unit with the flamethrower in it. He's going to move over this way instead and try to shoot this last cultist rifleman here with his pistol.
And he hits on a 5+.
5+. And
Yep.
he doesn't.
But it was a good round for us.
Yeah, I think it was a decent round. So this game is running a little long, as these things sometimes do. So we're going to call this the last round. So whatever happens this round is how the game ends up.
Should go faster now because we've eliminated a few units.
That's right. We have thinned out the cultist herd. Okay, so cultists go first. Now it's round 3. Number 6. Who's lucky number 6? So the cultists here, giving them their due, will probably try to maximize their hits. So we'll see if they can throw napalm on more than 1 target. So they're going to brazenly advance into the middle of town. So the cultists have kind of moved up here, and they're going to try to shoot over here. So yeah, the flamethrower guy here can see both of these guys, so he's going to get the stalker and the commander in the flamethrower gout. But the rifles will shoot at the stalker. So that's 3 flamethrower shots on the commander and 3 on the stalker, who also takes 2 rifle shots. So we'll roll for the commander first. He takes 2 hits. His defense is only 5+ to block. And he doesn't. He's got 3 wounds, but that still makes him a little toasty. So he's down to 1 wound. Now 5 shots on the Stalker. And 0 hits. So the Stalker avoids all injury. So good for him. So the cultists have moved. Okay, so Lynn is going to activate the Rat Ogre. He's going to shoot the flamethrower at these cultists over here. Do you wish to split that up? Or do you just want to shoot at 1 unit?
They have the machine gun, right?
Yeah, you could just shoot at the machine gun and then that unit would take the hits.
Let's do that.
Okay, so she's not going to split up the hits. She's just going to pour napalm on this unit with the machine gun. 6 shots with a 4+.
3 hits.
3 hits. They defend on a 5+. And they lost 2. So this guy is dead, flat out dead. The other one takes a wound.
He's got to roll on the wound chart.
Has to roll on the wound chart. 2, 3, so he is stunned. So he is stunned. Not knocked out, but stunned. If someone could charge him, then we could take him out permanently. All right, that was the rats. Now the cultists activate somebody. Number 4. And that's unfortunate because that's this guy, so he gets to stand up. I was going to charge him and eliminate him, but that didn't happen. He has a tenacious will to survive, which is why they probably gave him the machine gun. Okay, for the Nomads activation, this rifleman here is going to shoot this cultist here. He hits on a 5+, and he misses. He really wanted to shoot that cultist before it charges him. Okay, cultists, number 2. We're not having much luck eliminating some of these units, so number dos here is the remaining rifleman of a squad of 3, but he's still hanging in there. So I guess he will shoot at the Ogre. Ooh, you know what he's going to do? He's going to try to set fire to this building instead. Because why not? Oh, almost, but not quite. Yeah, if he set fire to the building, he might be able to damage anybody in the building, which is this guy here. So now it's the rats. Who's left for the rats?
My commander is going to move up.
So the Mouseling is moving up and unleashing the Shred Pistol on the Flamethrower squad. So these Flamethrower guys are just minding their own business, and they receive a hail of flechettes from above. So she gets 3 shots.
At 5+.
5+. 1.
1 is better than none.
Defending on a 5. And he does.
Wily bunch.
They are. So who are the next cultists?
Number 3.
Number 3. That's this squad of pistoleros over here. They're going to go out with a blaze of glory. They're going to charge the Rat Ogre. So they come rushing in with their clubs, which may not be that wise given that he's rocking a giant mining drill. But that's just what cultists do. So it's a big brouhaha down here. They do get 6 attacks, but it's a 5+. And 2 hits on the Rat Ogre. And you defend on a 3+. The Rat Ogre blocks 1 hit and takes a wound. Just a flesh wound. He's got 3 hit points, so he's fine. Does he want to fight back?
Of course. I think he only gets 2, though. But it does have AP1 and rending. And I hit on a 4+.
All right. Rat Ogre strikes back. 2 hits, 1 rending. So the rending will be AP -4. They're going to have to do a 6 on both of them anyway. So that doesn't matter. Kind of wasted on a little cultist. And they just die. 2 of them just die.
Yeah.
2 of them are just killed outright.
And then they move back an inch.
And then they move back an inch, right. Okay, so that was the cultists. Let's see, do we have anybody left?
We do.
Okay, we may have lost track as to whether the Nomads or the Rats are moving next. We'll say it is the Rats. So we have the Rat with the rifle. This is the Elite Rat. And he's going to try to move and pick off a straggler. So he moves to the edge of the roof. So he moved to the edge of the roof. He's going to try to shoot this cultist down here and eliminate the last member of that squad. Shoots twice.
5+. Come on.
5+ or 4+? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So he misses.
And number 5.
So the last cultist is number 5. Number 5 is going to charge this rifleman here. Attack twice, because that's what he does. A violent hand-to-hand attack with 2 dice on a 5+. Hits once. And the little trooper with 1 wound will defend on a 5+. And he does not, so he takes another wound. Rolls on the wound chart. And 4, 5, 6, he is out of commission. He got clonked in the head with a lead pipe, and so he's taking a little nap right now. Okay, so now I guess it's my turn. Unfortunately, the Ogre isn't quite close enough to charge the cultist flamethrower squad, though he really, really wants to. So I guess he will just move up and punch this cultist. So he's going to use his brass knuckles. He gets 3 attacks. Oh, he charged too, so he gets 1 more attack because he charged. So hitting on a 4+. And 1 hit. AP 1 though, so the cultist defends on a 6. And he does not. Takes a wound. Rolls on the chart. And he is just stunned. He is a tough cultist. And the Ogre moves back 1 inch. So I guess all the cultists have activated. We still have a couple of units left though. Here's the Nomad Commander and the Rattling Stalker. And so who's going to activate, Lynn?
The Stalker is going to activate and charge that cultist. So my Stalker is going to rush up and take out this cultist.
The cultist was stunned by the Ogre, and now the Ratman finishes the job. Kind of a ruthless move from the Stalker there, but I guess since his compatriots were killed, he felt justified.
Yeah, he's been getting beat up on most of the game.
So I think the last unit to activate is my commander here, and he's going to rush forward and unleash the shred pistol on this unit with the flamethrower. 3 attacks, 4+ with the possibility of rending. And 2 hits. So they defend with a 5+. And they blocked 1, but 1 guy is killed. So 1 cultist is removed. And I think that is a wrap. So we're going to call it good for right here, and I think we did a pretty fair job of defending the outpost. So let's take stock of where everyone is. So unfortunately, the cultists did not lose enough units to make them take a morale check. So this is the last member of 1 unit, as is this, as is this. So all these guys started out as 3-man squads. They're all down to 1, but they're still on the board. Then there's a unit here which has 2 cultists, including the flamethrower. So that's 4 units, so they are still above half strength.
But I think the next round would have whittled them down, so they had to do morale checks.
Yeah, the Rat Ogre would have made mincemeat out of this guy here, and I'm sure the rifleman could have taken out the machine gunner. And then right here, these cultists here are in a crossfire of 2 shred pistols, so that wouldn't have gone well for them. And then, of course, we have the Ogre right here, who could have probably hopped onto a crate or something and opened fire on these guys as well. So yeah, if we went into turn 4, probably would have been a cultist bloodbath, so we can call that a defender victory because we're still in control of the pumping station and no buildings have burned down. So we did lose our Rough Rider and a unit of riflemen and a couple of stalkers, but the cultists lost their super mutant
and their commander
and a whole host of cultists. So we have thinned out the cultist community here in town pretty significantly, which should make repairs a lot easier moving forward. Well, Lynn, what'd you think? Your Rattlings made a good showing of themselves.
They did. I'm glad we took out the big mutant. He's nasty.
He's pretty nasty. The big mutant and then the cult leader is not as nasty, but that is more of a moral victory. All right, folks, that is a wrap on our first on-screen game of Grimdark Future Firefight from One Page Rules. We do plan to play at least one other game using this map, and then we'll see where we go from there. But until then, thanks as always for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and we will see you soon.
See you soon.